Welcome back, fellow citizens of Jar, to Daring for Super President. This is the show in which we try to build our own country, take over the entire universe, and fix all of the universe's problems. If that sounds like something you think you might like, please hit the subscribe button down below to be counted as a citizen and to join us on our path to glory. My hair is very long. I try to go to the cut man, but I can't go to the cut man because the roads are icy and I can't get there. So another day will I cut or jog. I can't really do anything human. I've been inside eating pasta for like a week, which I'm happy about, but I do need to change this soon or else January is lost. On the note of pasta, why we are gathered here today, dearly blah, no, that's not right. Mainly because of a national food. You see, Jar does not have a national food. And I decided I'd do some digging, some research to find out what national foods exist in other parts of the world. And I found so much. It just continues going on and on. Realistically, this topic is so big, so broad, so vast that I could not possibly hope to cover it in all one episode. So instead, today we're going over the overview of national foods, hopefully towards building Jar's national food. I decided to look at the Wikipedia page for national dishes to find out that not only are there not technically in most places actual national dishes, there's kind of amorphous blobs of food that people are like, yeah, that sounds like them. If you were to think of a food which is completely synonymous with a country, my own personal choice would be kimchi from South Korea, and technically North Korea, but we don't tend to talk about them very much. Now, they've done so many things with this spicy cabbage, everything from taking it to space to taking it down their face in many pounds per year per person. We also have other many fabulous places like the United States, which, if you think of a national dish in the United States, it's probably either a hamburger or a hot dog. Some people consider pizza, but you know, it's a little more Italian if we are going to be fully honest with ourselves. Now, I went over around 1,000 different national dishes, because most places have like 4 for some reason. Now, 95% of the, however many I did end up finding, can be followed into the main categories as such. Soups, rice on plate, meat, noodles, dumplings, pies, salads, pastries, breads, puddings, and porridge. Those dishes make up about 95% of the national dishes of the world, as well as what I would imagine would be the most confusing restaurant you might ever imagine. Aside from these high-level concepts, there are other things that really make national dishes national. You have the sense of unity in the country over the history and culture of these different dishes. Now, something very interesting about all these national dishes is, if you think about it, they're really just dealing with what they had. If I go over to places like Sweden, they have surströmming, which you've probably heard of as stinky fish can. I'm assuming was born probably out of necessity. We also have places like the Seychelles and Palau, whose national dish is fruit bat soup. Soup. See, the main point is people make do with what they have, and over time that builds up a tradition, and people take that tradition and they say, this defines us. Now, if we go to Canada, the place that I was raised from the ground to become a human person as I am, they have several national dishes, just to give you an example of what one country does. We have poutine, which you've probably all heard of, which is also by the place that made it, not actually called poutine, they call it poutine. We also have Nanaimo bars, which are far too sweet to eat a single one. We have butter tarts, which are the last thing left on the snacks plate when everything else is gone, and people go, I have to eat the butter tarts now. Realistically, being trapped inside Raisin Town when you thought you were going to get a mini pie is sadness and sacrilege. As well as mac and cheese. You would be surprised that Canadians consume by far the most mac and cheese worldwide per capita. Like, it's not even close. We eat so much mac and cheese. And it's specifically mac and cheese Blue Box Kraft Dinner. I do not know why. I grew up with it. Everybody did. I didn't realize it was Canadian until I looked it up and found stats on how Canadian it apparently is. We also have Muktuk, pea-meal bacon, California rolls, and ginger beef. If you think about it, all national dishes are just weird things we grew up with, like ketchup chips for Canada, but everybody kind of eats a lot, like we eat Kraft Dinner a lot. And on the other end of it, you have things like tortilla, which is this like super traditional meat pie. And it's about history and culture meeting the lowest common denominator of society, which I find kind of lovely and beautiful. Now, how will Jar, a country which is intending on taking over the entire universe, plan on actually creating national foods, which are symbols of history and culture and gross fast food that we all grew up eating? I'd actually figured it out entirely, because I'm a genius. If you've ever played any of the Katamari games, you effectively roll around the entire world a ball of magical magnets, effectively, which picks things up as it rolls along and just sort of creates a bigger ball, and then it becomes a star. Now, Jar as a country, if you think about it, is like a cultural Katamari. As we grow through, we pick up new people from different places. We let them have their own culture, because we're not here to, destroy theirs, because that's rude. But we also pick up parts of their culture into the cultural identity of the entire country. And so I would say, no, I demand that the national foods of Jar be fusion dishes. I don't know any yet. We'll make these up as this is a series now, if you haven't figured it out by this point. I think we should take dishes from around the world and different cultures and combine them together in ways which in some cases appear very gross, like Surströmming, in some ways are very cultural and historically relevant, and in some ways are just super fast food lowest common denominator. It's some fried stuff in a ball. And together it'll weave a tapestry of yum. So help me weave that tapestry of yum. I'd like to know which foods you think are appropriate for our growing and amazing country. Please tell me what threads you'd like to weave into this tapestry, whether it be a single ingredient you think should be combined with other things, or entire dishes that you came up with that I might have to eat in future. So half be kind, but half be very cruel, because that might get us views. And as time goes on, I may highlight the other national dishes of the world, as, it's a pretty broad topic and it's fun to learn things. And we will all come together to create the ultimate cultural representation of everything. So together we may all be our own little Gordon Ramsay, just deep in our heart, that tells us food things. So this has been your super presidential candidate Darren, signing off for Saturday, saying welcome to Jar. Jar takes all kinds. You are family now. Please join us this week and every week. We go up every single Saturday and Monday. Don't forget to check down below in that description for links to fun things, and I will leave you, as always, with our viewer-submitted motto for Jar, which is, we are Jar. If you love Jar, you'll love us. See you Monday. And this episode is brought to you by Luke, and also by Aiden, and also by Rachel. Just like 3 contestants on the Kitchen of Nightmares and the Gordon of Ramsays, they each seek to earn my delicious favor by patting my pocket with delicious food. And by food, I mean cash. Thank you all.